Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful open source databases in the world, Postgres. But we're not just talking about, storing data. We are going to explore what makes this thing a true powerhouse for developers. So first things first, you've got to meet the mascot. Yeah, this is an elephant shrew. A little weird, right? But honestly, it is the perfect symbol for PostgreSQL. Because just like this little guy, there is so much more to PostgreSQL than meets the eye. It's surprisingly powerful and incredibly versatile. And that really brings us to the core idea for today. This quote nails it. You have to start thinking of PostgreSQL not just as a place to stick your information, but as a full-blown, impressive application platform that you can build right on top of. So to really get what that means, we're going to lean on a metaphor through this whole explainer, the Swiss Army knife. Let's look at PostgreSQL as this amazing multi-tool, just packed with specialized instruments for solving a huge variety of problems. Look, this isn't just about having one hammer for every nail. This is about having the whole toolkit, the screwdrivers, the little saw, the tweezers, all of it, packed into one solid, reliable system. It's about having the right tool for the job, whatever that job might be, right there inside your database. All right, let's open up this Swiss Army knife. The first set of tools we're going to look at are all about handling the messy, complex reality of modern data. We're going way beyond just simple text and numbers here. Just think about the data your apps use every single day. User profiles, product catalogs, sensor data. So much of it is structured as JSON, right? With all these nested objects and arrays, and trying to cram all that into traditional rows and columns, it's clumsy and it's just not efficient. So PostgreSQL tackles this problem head-on with two different JSON data types. You've got your standard JSON type, which basically just stores an exact text copy. But the real star of the show is JSON-B. See, it stores the data in this super efficient binary format, which makes it way faster to process. And this is the crucial part. It can be indexed. That means lightning-fast queries even deep inside a really complex JSON document. Now, here is a tool you probably won't find in many other databases, the exclusion constraint. So a standard unique constraint just checks for basic equality, right? An exclusion constraint lets you define what unique means with much more complex logic, like, say, checking if two different time ranges overlap. And this is the perfect example of its power. Imagine you have a table for booking conference rooms. With just a single exclusion constraint, you can tell the database, hey, do not allow any two entries for the same room to have overlapping time periods. That's it. The database enforces that complex business rule for you. It's guaranteed. Okay, let's pull out another one of these specialized tools, the timestamp TZ data type. That TZ stands for time zone. And for any app that operates globally, you know that managing time is an absolute nightmare. Well, this data type handles it all for you. It stores everything in UTC under the hood and then correctly converts it based on the time zone. And check out this mind-bending example. A short flight leaves at 1:50 a.m. and lands at 3:10 a.m. Simple enough, but daylight saving time springs forward an hour mid-flight. So if you just subtract the times, you get 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is wrong. But timestamp TZ, it knows about the time change. It correctly calculates the flight was only 20 minutes long. That is just incredibly powerful stuff. Okay, let's move on to the next major attachment on our Swiss Army knife. And this one is a real game changer. It's the ability to run your application logic written in languages you already know directly inside the database itself. And we're not talking about some weird proprietary database language here. PostgreSQL supports a ton of procedural languages. You've got PL/Python and PL/V8, which is basically JavaScript. And those are huge for modern developers. This means you can use the skills you already have, plus this massive ecosystem of libraries. So how does this actually work? Well, it's surprisingly simple. You can just write a function, let's say in Python, to do something complex like validate an email address format. And you define it right there in the database with a create function statement. And here's where the magic happens. Once that function is defined, you can just call it like any other built-in SQL function. You can run it over millions of rows, all inside the database, without having to shuttle all that data back and forth to your application server. It's so much more efficient. All right, let's shift gears to a feature that solves a very common and very real business problem. We're talking about building applications that serve lots of different clients or tenants, all from a single instance. So imagine you've built this awesome management system for dog spas. It's a huge hit, and now you've got dozens of different spas using your software. How do you make absolutely sure that Hot Dog Spa can't accidentally peek at the client list for doggy daycare? That is the multi-tenancy challenge.
What's so beautiful about PostgreSQL's solution here is how elegant it is. You don't need complex application code. Instead, you use the database's own structure. You create a separate logical container, called a schema, for each spa. So when the hot dogs user logs in, PostgreSQL just automatically points them to their own schema. Their data is completely walled off, and you didn't have to change a single line of your application code.
A powerful tool is only useful if you actually know how to use it. So for our last section, let's look at the whole ecosystem that makes getting started with PostgreSQL so approachable, from its tools to its absolutely incredible community. The great thing is, PostgreSQL meets you where you are. For the power users out there, you've got PSQL, a lightning-fast command line interface that's perfect for scripting. And for everyone who prefers a visual approach, there's pgadmin, a full-featured graphical tool where you can browse, query, and manage your database with clicks instead of code. And the best part is, you are never alone. The PostgreSQL community is genuinely one of its greatest strengths. You've got amazing resources like Planet PostgreSQL for articles, a massive wiki filled with practical guides, and super active mailing lists where you can get help from experts all over the world. So when you really put it all together, it becomes so clear. PostgreSQL isn't just a place to dump your data. With its advanced data types, the ability to run your own code, and these professional-grade features, it truly is that Swiss Army knife, a complete platform ready to tackle your most complex challenges. And that brings us to the end. I just want to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. If your database could do all of this, if it was this much more powerful, what new possibilities would that open up for your next project? What could you build then?